Most people who use AI assistants are using ChatGPT, and that makes sense. It's the one that put AI chatbots on the map. But there's another AI assistant that a growing number of power user professionals are quietly switching to, or at minimum adding to their toolkit. It's called Claude, made by Anthropic, and depending on what you're trying to do, it might actually be the better choice. Today, I'm going to walk you through exactly how to use Claude, what it does really well, where it falls short, and how it compares to ChatGPT in practical, side-by-side terms. Whether you're choosing between the two or wondering if you need both, this video will answer your questions. Claude is an AI assistant built by Anthropic, a company founded in 2021 by Dario Amodei and Daniela Amodei, along with several other former OpenAI researchers. The founding team left OpenAI over concerns about AI safety and the trajectory of the company, and Anthropic was explicitly built with AI safety as a core focus. That's not just marketing, it genuinely shapes how Claude is designed and behaves. Anthropic developed a framework called constitutional AI, which trains Claude to be helpful, harmless, and honest, using a set of principles rather than purely through human feedback. The practical result is an AI that tends to be more cautious about generating harmful content, more likely to acknowledge uncertainty and limitations, and designed to engage with nuanced situations thoughtfully rather than defaulting to simple answers. Claude has gone through several major versions. Claude 3, released in 2024, came in 3 tiers: Haiku, fast and lightweight; Sonnet, balanced; and Opus, most powerful. Claude 3.5 Sonnet became particularly notable when it outperformed GPT-4 on a range of benchmarks while being significantly faster. As of 2026, Claude is one of the top-tier AI assistants available and the primary competitor to ChatGPT for text-based work. Let me give you a direct, honest comparison rather than a promotional pitch for either platform. On writing quality, Claude is widely considered to be better for long-form writing tasks. If you need to write a thoughtful essay, a detailed report, a nuanced piece of analysis, or anything that requires consistent voice and careful construction over thousands of words, Claude tends to produce cleaner, more natural-sounding output. Many professional writers who use AI tools prefer Claude for drafting. ChatGPT is excellent at writing too, but it can sometimes feel more formulaic in structure. On coding, ChatGPT and Claude are closely competitive, but ChatGPT tends to have an edge for complex software engineering tasks, and it benefits from code execution capability through the code interpreter feature, which allows it to actually run code and show results. Claude can read and write code very well, but the lack of execution in the base product is a limitation for some use cases. On context window, which is essentially how much text the AI can consider at once, Claude has historically had an advantage, supporting very large context windows that allow you to feed it entire books, long documents, or large code bases for analysis. This has been a major differentiator. On following instructions and being direct, many users find Claude more reliable at following complex multi-part instructions without drifting from the format or losing track of requirements. It tends to be more consistent in this way. On being cautious and sometimes overly conservative, Claude can be frustrating in situations where you want a direct answer and it hedges extensively, or where it declines requests that are actually reasonable. This is a known criticism. ChatGPT can have the same issue, but sometimes is more willing to engage directly. Getting started with Claude is straightforward. Go to claude.ai, that's the web interface. You can create a free account using an email address or Google login, no credit card required. The free tier gives you access to a capable version of Claude with some usage limits. You'll hit a message cap during periods of heavy use, but for casual or occasional use, the free tier is genuinely useful. Claude Pro is the paid plan at $20 per month, which matches ChatGPT Plus in pricing. Pro gives you significantly more usage capacity, access to the most capable models, and priority access when the service is under load. If you're going to use AI tools regularly for work, $20 per month for either Claude Pro or ChatGPT Plus is easily worth it. Treat it like any other productivity software subscription. The interface is clean and minimal. You have a text input at the bottom, the conversation appears above, and you can start a new conversation at any time. You can upload files, PDFs, Word documents, images, spreadsheets, and ask Claude to analyze or work with them. This is one of the most powerful use cases. Feeding Claude a long document and asking it to summarize, extract key points, answer specific questions, or identify issues. Let me give you practical use cases where Claude genuinely excels and where you should consider using it over alternatives. Document analysis is arguably Claude's strongest suit. You can upload a contract, a research paper, a lengthy report, or a set of meeting notes, and ask Claude extremely specific questions about the content. What are the termination conditions in this contract? What are the 3 most important findings in this research paper? Are there any provisions in this document that seem unusual or risky? The accuracy and thoroughness Claude brings to this kind of work is impressive. For writing with nuance, situations that require understanding context, tone, and careful word choice, Claude is excellent. Cover letters that need to sound natural, not robotic. Difficult professional emails that need to communicate something sensitive. Arguments that need to be structured carefully. Feedback that needs to be both honest and constructive. For research synthesis and summarization, Claude is strong. Give it multiple sources of information and ask it to synthesize them into a coherent picture. And the output is typically well organized and accurate about what the sources actually say. For extended, nuanced conversations, talking through a complex problem, exploring multiple angles of a decision, working through a strategy, Claude holds context well and contributes meaningfully to the analysis. Whether you're using Claude, ChatGPT, or any AI assistant, the quality of your output is directly tied to the quality of your input. The most common mistake is being too vague. "Help me write a business plan" produces a generic, mediocre result. I'm launching a mobile app that helps independent personal trainers manage client scheduling and track workout progress. I need help writing the market analysis section of a business plan, specifically covering the size of the personal training market, key growth trends, and the competitive landscape. Keep it factual and data-oriented, approximately 500 words. That produces something actually useful. Providing context and constraints dramatically improves results. Who you are, what you're trying to accomplish, what the output will be used for, what format you need, what length, what tone. The more context you provide, the more relevant and usable the output. For complex tasks, break them into steps rather than asking for everything at once. Ask for an outline first, review it, then ask for each section. This iterative approach consistently produces better final results than trying to get everything in one prompt. Don't treat the AI's first output as final. Engage with it. Ask it to revise a section, tell it what's not working, ask it to try a different approach. The back and forth is where a lot of the value lives. Here's my honest practical advice. If you're choosing one tool and you primarily do writing, analysis, research, and document work, lean toward Claude. If you need a more general-purpose tool that also does image generation, code execution, and has a broader plugin ecosystem, ChatGPT has more of those integrations. If budget isn't a constraint and you're a power user, running both makes sense. They genuinely have different strengths, and for important tasks, it can be worth checking both. For most people, starting with the free tier of both and seeing which one feels more natural for how you work is the best approach. You don't need to commit. You can use both freely and develop your own opinion based on actual experience rather than benchmark comparisons. Claude is a genuinely powerful AI assistant that deserves more attention than it typically gets outside of technical circles. Whether it's better than ChatGPT depends entirely on what you're doing with it, and hopefully this video gave you enough clarity to make that call for yourself. There's a comparison table in the description breaking down both platforms across about 15 different use cases so you can make the right choice for your work. If you found this helpful, subscribe. We cover AI tools, trends, and practical applications every week. Leave a comment letting me know which AI tool you're currently using most and why. See you next time.